62. I apologise for the last one that was about 20 minutes ago. I've actually got myself down to the bottom where they all are, where all the people are and the guns. So hopefully I can do a bit more and you'll be, enjoy. We go over to where the wreaths were and the laying of the wreaths. Their names liveth forevermore. You got the government and the people of New Zealand. St. Albert the Great College. The Maltese member Kalala, and no good at this. The ambassador of the United Kingdom, in love and memory of the brave, the sacrifices saved in their lives. Here is Dad, remembrance of Dad Peter Dunn. Travis Markham, remembrance. RCM 42 CDO, Gary Wooden. Republic of Turkey. Malta. Remembrance for all who served. Always in our hearts. Ambassador of France. The High Commission Government of the United Kingdom. Ooh. High Commission of India. On behalf of people of Ireland.
The Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland, thank you. On behalf of the Republic of Ireland. I don't always get it straight or correct. Least we forget, Rafa, Malta. Respect, Malta. This one here is on behalf of the government and people of Ireland, so this must be two different. Oh, getting told off again. I can only apologise, can't I? Saluting battery, and this is gun number 4.
On the gun platform, please.
Oh,
No one on the gun platform, please.
back, yeah, back away.
No one on the gun platform.
Gun number 2. And this is gun number 1.
Increase the intelligence level.
I don't know what he's doing. Putting up a fence so we can't get in there. I will be up here. I was just getting taken out again. Another gun. Is that gun again? Just nice and shaded here. Very hot here in Malta today. It must be 22 degrees. This is the Iron SG gun, 24 PD, English early 18th century this gun is.
This one is an old cannon, so we don't
This gun is an Iron ML gun, 32p PD, and it was British mid-19th century. And we have a soldier here telling everyone.
this cannon will blow up. Well, this was developed by the British, so it will be used to, back then.
Come on, you're strong. It's stuck, I think.
Any country that was yes, but please do not open it, okay?
Well, the people are still up there watching, lots and lots of people. These are the children from earlier on.
And we are now 10 minutes away from the firing of the noonday gun. A tradition started here in Malta centuries ago.
So it is announcing that we're 10 minutes away from the firing of the gun.
The cannon goes off. The babies are playing, smelling gunpowder. The smoke is coming out from the gunpowder. And the way we run down here is to walk up the stairs behind me, in front of the fountain, down to the reception of the Salute Battery, and you can buy your tickets. And the tickets are only €3 per person, €1 for kids under 16, and the proceeds will then go into a non-profit organisation to continue with the firing of the cannon down here on the battery, and with the projects of restoring and preserving historical landmarks here in Malta, just like we've done with the Salute Battery. So if you want to help us with the check results, learn more about the jury, and then up close to the cannon down in the top of the top, please let us know in the battery for the new day. And we hope to see you here, this is the cannon fire, and thank you much for your participation.
So we need to make this very clear.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, please join behind the safety lines on either side.
Where do you want me to go? On YouTuber?
Side here behind the ropes.
Yeah, YouTuber.
All right, let's see.
YouTuber.
Sorry.
YouTuber. Yeah, it might be better over that side. It might be better over there because the sun will be on my eyes. Can I get in here? Because the sun's not in my eyes this way, we can see. I'm a YouTuber, I'm on YouTube, so. He said it won't be long now because they'll be firing the gun again. Just one gun. There's lots of people here. Our soldiers are putting the chairs away from earlier. Yeah, YouTube.
I already broke my toe one time with that kind of brush. I don't need a chair to break my toe. Okay, he needs gunpowder. Okay, so turn it as I pull it. I pull it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fondazione Wreath Art, the Malta Heritage Trust, with the kind support of the Malta Tourism Authority and the Bank of Valletta, invites you to partake in today's marking of the passage of midday with the firing of the noonday gun from the saluting battery. In doing so, we shall be recreating an age-old tradition that goes back hundreds of years. Since the invention of the cannon in the 14th century, it was commonplace in many walled towns and castles for such means to be used to announce given moments of the day to surrounding communities. Thus, gunfire sunrise or sunset would indicate the approximate time by which the gates and bridges of the town were to open or close. It would also signal the beginning and the end of the curfew, if this was in place. In some parts of the world, cannon fire was used to announce the exact times of prayer and the start and finish of the working day too. In Malta, this practice remained till the start of the 20th century. In addition, a gun was fired precisely at noon, as you're going to see today. Till such time as accurate timekeeping at sea became a very important issue at the start of the 19th century, this practice
Won't be long
had
now.
a very mundane use, that of sounding break time.
We're waiting for the gun to go again.
But with the invention of the first portable sea-going clock by the English clockmaker John Harrison in 1735, the sounding of the midday gun in ports became an all-important and expected public necessity. This was due to the fact that ship masters would seek to regulate their on-board clocks at that hour to ensure that they ran on time. Chronographs, as ship's clocks are known, were used at the time to find the longitude at sea by comparing the time on board with that of the port last visited. The last noonday gun was
saluting
this place in 1923, by which time the practice had
battle.
become
It's a
obsolete.
saluting battle.
The place from where the noonday gun would be fired today is called the Saluting Battery.
The saluting
It's
battle.
located on the St. Peter and St. Paul Bastion, which forms part of the historic Valletta fortifications built in 1566. Given
Did he
its
go?
unique vantage point, its guns could easily protect the full length and breadth of the Grand Harbour against a sudden attack.
Lots of people here. You've got lots of people on the balcony at the top where it was earlier, about an hour ago. Nightmare trying to get in to see, but as you can see on the balcony up there, I actually put my cameras through the little holes.
This place remained in constant military use until 1956, when its saluting guns were silenced forever. After that time, its history gradually faded away, till 2004, when the battery was brought back to its former glory by Fondazione Wreath Art, the Malta Heritage Trust, with the assistance
That's
of the Malta
better, the
Tourism
sun's gone
Authority
down a little
and the
bit.
Bank of Valletta. Since then, its guns have unfailingly heralded the passage of midday on a daily basis, as you will witness today. Please note that immediately after the firing of the noon gun, you can visit this battery and see its fantastic collection of historic cannon, spanning 2 centuries. Entrance is via the steps at the back of the balcony or the side entrance in Battery Street when this is open.
Won't be long now.
4 minutes left.
He's doing gun 5. Gun is going to fire any minute now. One gun. It's going to be very loud, very smoky.
No, they got fire!
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that the gun was loud enough and that you've enjoyed today's firing. May I kindly suggest that you give a good round of applause to our boys in uniform for their
Hooray! Well done! Our heroes!
For the New Day gun firing, a tradition started by the Knights of St. John that we keep alive even till today. Now for you down here on the battery, please remain where you are for the moment. We still have a loaded cannon out here on the battery, and the gunpowder needs to be brought back out of the arches and back into the gunpowder store. So please remain where you are until the gunpowder is safely back in the gunpowder store. And now for you up in the gardens, as you're heading out, by the gates you'll find 2 gunners with donation buckets. That's because we are part of a non-profit organization called Fondazione Wreath the Malta Heritage Trust, and we rely on your help to keep the cannon firing down here on the battery. So
Well
if you have
done,
some
well
change
done.
left in your pockets, drop it in the buckets, and you can use it in the future to continue the cannon firing down here on the battery, and with our projects of restoring and preserving historical landmarks here in Malta. And also down here in the reception of the saluted battery, you'll find merchandise and souvenirs where all the proceeds will go into our projects. And down here you'll also be able to pick up tickets for the War HQ tunnels and the Las Vegas War Rooms for underground adventures beneath the saluted battery,
Bye-bye.
and learn more about how the
Adios.
systems and how the tunnels were used during the Second World War.
Bye-bye.
Now the gunpowder is safely back into the
Bye-bye.
gunpowder stores,
Bye.
and now we start roaming around here. on the
Bye-bye,
battery
children.
as police.
Bye-bye.
If you join us out here by the cannon,
Bye-bye,
that will be
children.
fired. The
Bye.
gun is going to return out here to give you a tour
Bye,
of the
children.
battery, to tell you more
Bye-bye.
about its history, and the cannon we have
Bye-bye.
here on the arches. Now once again, thank you very much for joining us here for the New Day gun firing. Our next cannon fire will be later this afternoon for the evening gun firing at 4 o'clock. Until then, hope you have a great day here in Valletta, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Give you a hug. Well done. Thank you. Give you a hug. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. Well done, well done, well done. Can I give you a hug, please?
Yeah, of course you may.
Thank you. Well
you're
done.
welcome.
Thank you. You want one?
See the hug.
No, I've got a partner, 22 years. These are our heroes. You know, they're still there today for us. He's a hero. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tour starts outside the cannon will be fired. On the tour, please approach the cannon will be fired.
Let's see if we can find anybody else to give a hug. I've just given these two a hug.
Bye, darling. Take care.
Okay, okay. And there's food. I apologise for my first phone about 11 o'clock. the one previous to this one, because if you can see at the top there, the balcony, that's where I was. All those people, I couldn't actually get to film anything, but what I did do was I got in between the fencing with this little holes there, and I filmed as much as I could on the Remembrance for just before 11 o'clock. And then I knew this one was coming at 12 o'clock. This is gun number 8. We're in Valletta, Malta, and it's the guns that are just being fired, saluting for our remembrance, our people that died. They say it's the saluting the battery. And we're at gun number 5. This is gun number 4. I don't know, I think this might have been the one that they used. It's a little bit drippy and wet. And gun number 3 was used as well. Or was it gun number 3? We got all the ships out there, boats in the bay. They would have all seen as well. They do this daily, couple of hours a day. One salute. And this is gun number 1. You know, we can imagine it when the World War was going on, World War I and World War II, and all the boats were coming across here and all the ships, even in the Viking days and the Viking times, they were coming up, you know, to sea, trying to, for the invasion, these guns, and the soldiers in World War I and World War II, they shot up into the skies and they shot into the sea. You say there's 3 cities here, 1 city over there. This is another city here. And there's a city over there. It's the 3 cities of Malta. You still got all the people up on the top. And it's very busy earlier on. It's so deep with people. We've got a soldier here talking.
Ready, coming to replace us. The point is that history is written on the forceful sacrifice of people. Who are these people? Of course, soldiers. A soldier doesn't have time. He doesn't have past, present, or future because it's the ideal of a human being. It's legendary. It's forever. So for me, it's timeless. Ladies and gents, 7,000 years of history Malta has approximately, and written by soldiers. Okay? So many civilizations live here in this territory. It's essentially 5 islands, 3 with population. Okay? So we have Malta, Gozo, and Comino. Amazing. In the last 7,000 years, there's been this interest for Malta and its control, because Malta has a very unique geographical location. Always interest for Malta, right? Not only for money laundering, tax haven, which is very nice, by the way. I speak with freedom.
Get around here so we can see his face.
Okay. let's be specific regarding the location. In that direction, we can find North Africa, actually, well, Libya, Tunisia, Gibraltar, Europe, and the beginning of the Middle East, after Greece and Cyprus, okay? So you can imagine, in the last 7,000 years, so many civilizations taking the control and taking care of Malta goes on coming. The Romans, the Ottomans, the Arabs, the Phoenicians, the Spanish, the British, the French. For example, the Knights of Malta rolling in their graves right now. I'm very sorry for them. Greek, Italian, Portuguese, Sicilian, Lebanese, and much more. But historically speaking, in my humble opinion, there are 5, the most important ones: the Arabs, the French, the Italian, the Knights of St. John, and finally the British Empire. Have you heard of the Knights? The Knights of Malta rolling in their graves right now, because they're using this place to make money now. Cheering on the sacrifice. Whoever they are, just ignore me as much as you can. Have you heard of the Knights? Okay. This is the strongest generation in Maltese history, definitely, by far. There is no comparison, okay? Let's say there is a Knight of Malta, a Knight of St. John walking here on the platform. You will see a giant, as tall and as high as the sky. Why so powerful? These are the ones who built this place. These are the ones who built the city of Valletta. These are the ones who started the firing of the gun at 12 and at 4 o'clock every day for timekeeping purposes, 1640. This, ladies and gentlemen, again, has been working in the last 4 centuries, so to speak, as the clock of the region. So we fire the cannon, we know the time. Finally, the Knights of Malta are the ones who defeated the Ottoman Empire in a very impossible battle to win, mathematically speaking. The Knights they are only, excuse me, I don't speak in past because the past is not dead. Things die when we forget them. They are only 6,100 against 40,000 Ottoman freaking soldiers. And they won. 3 euros, they bought the ticket for the cannon firing. Everything starts in 1530, my friends, okay? Actually, way before. Knights Hospitallers is the name of the organization. And you can see on my shoulders the Maltese cross, which is a legendary symbol of excellence. That is the cross of the Knights. The Knights begin in Jerusalem, 11th century, in that direction. I'm still very annoyed that they canceled my flight in 2023 for obvious reasons. Anyways, the main purpose of the Knights was to take care of the sick and the poor people, originally. And probably you've heard of different divisions, different teams, especially the Templar Knights, the Crusaders. Well, also in Malta, we had very strong Knights as well. Officially, they arrived in 1530. The Knights received Malta as a gift. There is an agreement between 2 kings, the King of Sicily, the King of Spain, and they gave Malta and its control to the Knights of Cyprus and the Knights of Rhodes over there. So they moved from there to here, and they stayed for 268 years, okay? And they became the Knights of Malta. Well, they were giants. Today, they are souvenirs like this, next to the goddamn Hello Kitty ones. It's okay. The good times are hitting very hard. We are living in the best times ever. When there is no need to be disciplined, to be on time, to be strong, powerful, that is gone. Now we are the weakest generation of all time. But with me, I won't let that happen at all. Yes. So, ladies and gents, 1565, the history of the saluting battery and the history of Valletta starts. It's the same story, right? The Ottoman Empire, one of the most powerful empires ever. They sent 200 ships, 40,000 Ottoman soldiers to start an invasion in this peninsula, which was empty. Before 1565, there was nothing built in this region, except for a tower for St. Elmo at the end of the peninsula. It's a museum, National War Museum. Other than that, nature. No saluting battery, no holiday destination, no pictures, no tourism, nothing. Okay? Right. Why the Ottomans came? Because this is the history of the world. The ones who have conquering the ones, the other fucking way around, excuse me. The ones who don't have conquering the ones who have, right? I really apologize for my mistakes. I'm completely burned out. I am the soldier doing most of the fucking job in this place. Anyways, try to ignore me as much as you can again. Holiday tomorrow. A holiday tomorrow, absolutely. Yeah, we lost 42 people already leaving the gate. The administration is impossible to explain. Anyways, right, yes. Just stay with me. This is the history of the world, ladies and gents. There are so many countries, so many places on the planet with very poor people. They are frustrated, with hunger, with ambition. They want to conquer, right? The Ottomans were exactly like that. The idea of the Ottomans was to keep their dominance in the Mediterranean Sea, and especially in North Africa. That's why they came. As you know, that expansion in Europe failed, okay? And the knights are only 6,100. African slaves, Italian, Spanish, Maltese volunteers, and knights. They are camping on the other side of the harbor. Here nothing, waiting for the Ottomans, okay? Anyways, in September 1565, after 4 months of war, it's just 4 months of war, very short, the knights won, amazing. In the meantime, during the war, supposedly they stole tons of gold and silver from the Ottomans, because when there is a war, you do shit all the time, and they started building and reinforcing this place. The idea after the war, which is called the Great Siege, was to move the capital of the island, to transfer the capital from Mdina, not very convenient location, to here. It's one of the highest points in the island, and obviously the harbor is over here. But again, it's a peninsula, so there are 2 harbors. Tax haven, money laundering happens over there, here everything else, right? 1566, they start building this institution. It was finished approximately in 1570. 1 year afterwards, Valletta was finished. And the knights obviously asked themselves, what's the name? What the name should we give to the city? Valletta, to remember the Grand Master Jean de la Valette. Another one, rolling in the grave. Absolutely, in his amazing, beautiful grave. La Valette is the leader of the knights. He's the Grand Master. The Grand Master is the person in charge who gives the orders. And La Valette is the guy convincing 6,099 people, soldiers, to go and kill 40,000 Ottoman ones. 7 to 1. 7 coming against you. And they won. And they are rolling in the graves again. Anyways, before I go in jail, before I go crazy, actually, let's continue the explanation. Today this place belongs to the UNESCO World Heritage Site for obvious reasons. Very unique history, very unique architecture. It's the hottest capital in Europe, yes. I'm dying, but I died so many times in life, no worries. And also, ladies and gents, it's one of the very, how to say, one of the oldest modern capitals in the continent. And one of the very last ones, geographically speaking, because North Africa is really close to Malta itself. Let's carry on. And by the way, this is very important, and they hate when I say this. That was my firing 623. 623. We had to use the second gun 18 times. I misfired 18 times. Is there any medal, diploma, recognition? No, 0. Because these are the good times. How are we going to be remembered in the future? Incredible, right? No worries. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the story keeps going. In that direction you can observe Floriana, okay? Another town that was built after Valletta. And more importantly, in the middle, in between, these massive walls, fortifications, right? Even outside of the entrance of Valletta, and the Floriana lines over there, okay? This has a very name, a particular name here in the island, which is called the counter guard. So we have the guard and the counter guard. They were built by the knights to help the saluting battery with more cannon firing if needed. Okay, so the knights have right now guns over there, also in the Floriana lines, to keep firing and take care of the harbor. The original purpose of the saluting battery obviously was to take care of Valletta. But in 1640, supposedly, 1640, the knights start to fire 5 or 6 in the morning. Everybody wake up, kick in the ass, go to work. 12 o'clock, beginning of the afternoon, and 4 o'clock, beginning of the evening. Because of course, a timekeeping system was needed by the people. No clocks, no watches. 17th century. They existed, yes, definitely. But for example, like the latest iPhone Pro Max 17,000 shit, destroyed many, it was extremely expensive, my friends. Today, it's like that, right? Especially for us. 17th century with a clock watch was exactly the same. And not even the knights used to have clocks or watches, but they had to fire 12. How did they know to fire? Well, there is a place in Republic Street which is called the House of the Grand Master, the Grand Master's Palace. It's a museum, and that place should definitely be my house right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was a room that was exclusively designed to find the time. Calculation, mathematics, astrology, okay? On the room, well, yes, on the floor of the room, astrology, right? A circle, middle line, which is called meridian, number symbols around, and there were people waiting for the signal. Quite simple. The rays of the sun coming through the windows and touching the line in the middle. It was 12 o'clock. Few seconds before that interaction, there were people outside with flags. And the last flag was here, so the cannon firing happened at 12. Oh, it's just a cannon firing. No clocks, no watches. Thanks to this timekeeping station, the people have organization in their lives. These communities around the platform. Okay? Okay, let's keep the explanation going. This is a huge fortification. It's called the St. Peter and St. Paul's Bastion. It was built in two different times, 1566, and then in 1651, the knights built the arches and the gardens. Obviously, the knights needed a place to discuss the political situation of the island. And finally, I'm a world traveler. I want to go to 100 countries, and I know how to identify scams and touristic traps. This is a scam. It's €1. It's a lift, very popular in the island. You can actually go down to the waterfront, otherwise you come back up to the gardens. Okay, Upper Baraka lift, fascinating. Just leave the saluting battery from the right corner, walk down, and you avoid the €1. Keep it for yourself. Buy Bitcoin, which is coming. Right, beautiful. Okay, ladies and gents, we can continue the explanation with the French cannon over there.
C'est le canon français celui-là.
Great, beautiful. The party keeps going. Slowly, the shitheads are taking their break. The other soldiers, of course, scrolling on social media, eating junk food. Yeah, that generation that doesn't generate. Absolutely, absolutely, it's the worst of all time, and I will stop it. I have a big plan between my hands. A big project. Anyways, just forget that. It's okay, we can continue the explanation. As I said, 268 years. The Knights of Malta didn't stay forever, unfortunately. In 1798, Malta is taken by the French Empire, the superpower of the world. Napoleon in person, one of the greatest conquerors of all time, took the island by and for himself. Incredible. The French were traveling, well, navigation in this case, from France to Egypt, and they stopped hitting the island in the meantime. Of course, whoever has the control of the island has the control of the Mediterranean Sea. And again, this happened a couple of times in history. Okay? So yeah, there are two versions of the story why Malta was taken in 3 weeks. Number one, that some of the knights were French. So they went over there, they opened the gates, that we don't have anymore, and Napoleon invades and spreads and takes Malta in 3 weeks. The second option, there is a war, there was a war, and the knights lost. Alright? Anyways, so ladies and gents, the Knights of Malta are done, unfortunately. The knights left the island, except for the French knights if they were here. Okay? If you didn't know, there were other people living in the island who didn't like the French at all, the Maltese civilization, the Maltese people. So ladies and gents, in the first months of the French colonization, obviously, we had the first fights, disagreements, and finally a revolution. 2 years of French occupation and also Maltese revolution with support at the same time, with help. The Maltese received assistance to kick out the French, the Portuguese, the Italian, and finally, of course, the enemy of the French. They don't like each other so much, right? One of the biggest fleets ever, the British Empire, in terms of miles and kilometers, conquered the greatest empire of all time. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the years of the French occupation, saluting battery was new. New saluting battery, new guns, new equipments, new uniforms, and possibly the same time-keeping firing. But finally, in September 1800, the French left the island forever, and there is an agreement signed between the Maltese and the British. So Malta becomes the most important British colony in the Mediterranean Sea. Yippee, bravo! For the next 179 years. 179 years. And this improved a lot the British dominance in the Mediterranean Sea. Gibraltar, Alexandria, now Malta in the middle. New saluting battery, new guns, new equipments, and of course, new uniforms. Today, one day a year, I wear this uniform. The rest of the days, 300 days, we wear the other one that my colleagues are wearing at the moment. I don't know where they are. Anyways, Anyways, they should be here, but anyways, that's gonna stop someday. They wear the dark blue traditional British uniform for the winter time. Okay. Here I have some items from such uniform. For example, the belt. Okay. Some French inscriptions because again, they don't love each other so much. Then we have the buttons from the artillery regiment. These buttons, okay, they look very nice. The boots, rubber, no sparks, no friction. And on my shoulders, and this is God level, the cross of Malta, Maltese cross, actually the cross of the Knights Hospitallers. And you can see, observe the cross right here. Each point of the Maltese cross, also called the cross of the Knights, is one of the languages that they used to speak. Some of them nearly over, don't speak anymore. And finally, each branch of the cross, therefore, is a representation of the Stoicism. Cardinal virtues. How a man is built. Moderation, wisdom, justice, and courage. Have you heard of them? Well, I'm not running for Maltese presidency, by the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, you saluting back here, and of course, this gun, this cannon, belongs to the French Empire. It's the only French gun that we display in this museum. The gun in question was brought here to be part of the timekeeping system, or ultimately, my dream that we need, as you can see over there, the defense of the harbor. Over there, ladies and gentlemen, we display the Gunpowder stores. Nothing's closed. They don't care. I do. Don't cross the chain, please. Okay, beautiful. I don't know, these should be open. They should be open, but well, they're in the office, checking Facebook, under the human condition, of course, logically speaking, as they do. Right. In this place, we secure the gunpowder. The military drill that is performed, the cannon firing, starts from this room. We store the gunpowder, cartridges, so many of them. 4 boxes full of cartridges. My best friend working 24/7 over there. Not as much as myself, I have 3 jobs. This is one of them. Yes, what else can I tell you? Anyways, these 2. So, window, gate, and these 2. This place was built in 1566 with the platform and the guns, before the gardens and the arches. And they were here to stop the rain. Chemically speaking, wet gunpowder is shit. It's not fire, it's not very good. So ladies and gentlemen, today you're enjoying one of the 300 days of sunshine that we celebrate, we have here in the lovely island. 65, the end of the world rainy days. They are horrible, annoying, full of sand from Sahara. And of course, obviously, who's sent to fire the guns? We wear special capes, I don't know why I speak in plural. We take care of the cartridges, then we need to run, we need to rush, we need to load as quick as possible. Because the cannon fire has to happen regardless of the conditions of the weather. Okay? And those tourists, they come on rainy days, they are so loyal, but not as loyal as you are. Absolutely. Let's continue. The cannonballs, number 1.
Let's continue.
Maman,
The next, please. The cannonballs.
You can take your time. The museum is self-guided, so you can explore by yourselves. At 4 o'clock, I fire again, okay? So, this collection again has 17 guns, 16 British, 1 French, a monument over there, one of the governors of the island, for 18 days. The timeline that explains the history of the saluting battery, Maltese history. Also the evolution of the guns. Obviously, the saluting battery received new guns continuously. Please mind your steps. Sometimes it's funny to see people falling. I laugh, they have this plan. Sometimes it's not funny. So please mind your steps. 4 display cases with the cannonballs, with the guns that went in service of the island, gunpowder, and finally the demonstration, and finally this 3 Victorian cannon. Right, a cannon fires a cannonball. By the way, you can buy the music. We sell it in the reception in CDs. I'm a programmer, so yeah. Don't worry, guys. By the way, we're looking for replacements. We're looking for new soldiers. You start tomorrow, all of you. I give you a uniform, I teach you everything. Psychiatrists included. Right, and the coffee expired, by the way. Okay, so These are the cannonballs that any of the guns can fire. Okay? A cannon fires this ball, which is called logically cannonball. These ones hold up shots full of gunpowder, so they explode. These ones, the normal ones, the normal cannonball that you can see around the platform. Then you can observe right here, number 16 to 19, okay, shots. They spread out from the gun. They are short range. All of them are fired, used to be fired as anti-personnel cannonballs, meaning to kill enemies, to kill people, right? Also, obviously, to destroy guns, castles, walls, fortifications, towers, houses, everything. The destruction power is quite high, especially with these ones. And finally, 1 to 5. They change shots. They were used, for example, for all these purposes, but additionally to stop the ships, to take them. Like, for example, the French gun of this collection again behind you. This is what we call the prize of war. After winning, you don't say, this is shit, I throw it away. No, the guns, the equipments were very valuable. Cannonballs, they will not fire, ships, guns like the other one, these ones as well, very, very expensive to fire, to use, the enemy's stuff, right? Please, let's carry on. Fantastic. Don't worry guys, my locker room is full of paracetamol. I am the #1 customer in the planet, yeah. And again, holidays start tomorrow. We'll go to number 39, number 40. 4 years traveling, right? But this nightmare is not forever. Okay, so these are some of the guns that were once back in the day in the service of the Malta Artillery Regiment. Okay, a couple of the guns are from actually the time. It can contain the power of the explosion, obviously needed to fire the cannonball, right? Then we have number 2, number 3, number 4 British guns, of course, and much better in quality. Number 6 and number 7, the gunners' levels. Because obviously, firing any kind of gun is a matter of physics, mathematics. The variation in temperature, for example, wind, speed, these variables that affect the result of firing. So in the battlefield, in addition to the very handsome and crazy soldiers killing each other, obviously there were mathematicians, officers, engineers, experts, officers again, excuse me, inspectors, right? And they were given with these instruments, number 6, number 7. So in the middle of the war, they had to find numbers with these instruments very, very quickly. And these numbers were therefore orders for 2 gunners. So one was here, one is here, because again soldiers are forever, and they were able to modify the angle of the cannon, right? This is the way to affect the range, by modifying the angle of elevation or depression. It's a matter of physics, quite simple. What about the range? Yeah. The 8 guns over there, the range, half a kilometer, 500 yards, 456, 57 meters is shorter than a half a kilometer. Sorry for that. With these ones, few miles, 1 to 2.5 kilometers. Those are guns, these are cannons. The difference is the back itself. These are cannons, okay? Those ones are the very first machine gun of the Victorian times. I will explain in detail what they are. Okay? This is the story I'm telling you at the moment, which is kindly, and very kindly, not like me, explained in the timeline, the saluting battery history timeline, that explains everything. So again, 1565, the Ottoman invasion, but the knights who arrived before won. And this war is the reason why saluting battery and Valletta exist. Then we had the time of the knights, 2 years of French occupation, colonization, and finally after the revolution that the Maltese started, Malta became, after the war, a British colony. Extremely important, especially for the First World War, Second World War as well. And you can observe over here 2 examples, 2 models of the Victorian times. Right, what can we say? Victorian times, also called the long peace, the 19th century was. I was going to say 17, but anyway, 19th century. Okay? Industry, innovation, the very first modern countries are born in this century, so many of them. Malta became one of the richest colonies in the Mediterranean Sea. The popularity increased significantly, holiday destination, obviously for the Victorian British as well. And the saluting battery, of course, receives new equipment, new guns, new cannons. For example, these two. No need to say that they are original, right? So what we call as a cannon is actually only this part. This is cannon itself, okay? And this is the carriage. The carriage, as you can see, is a vehicle to transport, to take the gun with us. And speaking of that, over there, ladies and gentlemen, the guns stay where they are. They don't move forward, backwards, there is no retracement, they don't retrace, no reaction. And there are three reasons. Number one, we are very few people, very few soldiers. We start tomorrow again. We are not enough to push them back. Number two, the amount of gunpowder. In my opinion, the explosion was very loud. Absolutely. They can actually fire 5 times more gunpowder. Incredible. And finally, the wheels are blocking them, the ones on the back. Those are the reasons why they stay where they are. Yes, to move the guns, 8 to 12 soldiers are needed actually to move them. Very, very heavy. 2,600 kilograms of iron. Today, 2025, 8 to 12,000. Absolutely. Playing video games as well. Right, what about the range? The range is affected by the conditions of, well, the weather, the weight of the cannonball, the amount of gunpowder, and the skills of the soldier. You can finally observe on each side the numbers, they are the weight of the cannonball, they can fire, and finally this. Ah, it's so nice, a decoration from the UK. Yes, but also a warning. Of course, no one used to mess with them. That's why they dominate, right? PR, that stands for Queen Victoria. And over there, the King George Rex III. There were many Georges, that one is the third. And this one, PR, Queen Victoria, not as beautiful as Elizabeth II, in my humble opinion, but very powerful as well. And the crown for the Queen, and the crown for the King over there. These do exactly the same job. They fire, of course. But actually, this one was on board on the ships only. This one was for the ships, and that one for the fields. For example, for a place like this one. The way to differentiate is with the bag itself. With the button over there on the back. Gun. Let's carry on. Right here. You can observe the gunpowder, but not in action, of course. That happened before, and it's going to happen at 4 again. Okay. The gunpowder, ladies and gents, was an incident. It was discovered by mistake by the Chinese Empire thousands of years ago. Well, the legend says so. Okay? The Chinese tried to find a chemical component. Well, every component is chemical. The elixir to extend the life, to live for 1,000 years. Well, boom, exploded. That is the legend, right? That became gunpowder. It's a combination of different chemicals. It was very common to experiment, to try different chemicals, different combinations in order to obtain the strongest gunpowder possible. Sulfur, potassium, charcoal, saltpeter, sugar, for example, right? So you combine these chemicals, you obtain gunpowder. We store and we secure the gunpowder in cartridges. There in the gunpowder store, they are stored over the inside. Otherwise, in barrels. But of course, the barrels are extremely, really dangerous. They need just a little spark to destroy everything. Probably my last day. There is another option for them. If we load 20 kilograms of gunpowder, 10, 7, 6, and we fire, explodes. I will keep that in mind. So, this is the most important gun in this collection. In 2011, we stopped firing these guns over there. Those cannons over there, which are actually cannons, okay? Well, every gun in the planet has a limit in terms of number of barrels, okay? They need maintenance. Maintenance is expensive, right? Inside the rusty bracket, of course, is the passage of time. That's why in 2011, we received 8 new guns, which are the ones over there in position, ready to be fired, right? And this is the original model. Replicas, representations, the real one. As you can see, the back is not here. This model is introduced in 1882. It was an experiment. It's a conversion, actually, from a cannon into a gun. Why? Well, in England, Mathematicians, engineers, the inspectors again, they try to find a solution for the cannons because they needed 8 to 12 soldiers to load and fire 3 times in 20 minutes. Or for example of the ships, it was very common to fire through the windows. Example of this environment, Jack Sparrow with the monkey on the shoulder, Pirates of the Caribbean, firing and they go with the eye, yeah. Beautiful. So with this conversion everything was simple. Easier for the gunners. The bag is not here. And instead of the gas cable, which is the name of the part, just forget it, the bridge was introduced. So we open, we load, we close, and then we fire. Everything happens from the same place. One soldier is needed, only one, to fire twice in 2 to 4, 3 to 5 minutes. Ceremonially speaking, if there is a war, in 55 seconds, 50 to 60 seconds average, we can reload and fire again. We are very different from each other in my beautiful regiment, so that is questionable. Anyways, absolutely. Yes, the name of the gun is the 30 pounds SVPL, smooth bore, no rifling, and breech loading. The breech over there that we polish every single morning, right? The problem of the gun was the range. It's very, very short. They can still cover these 8 guns the full length of the car. But if there is a war, the range, well, it's not very good. For example, the ones on the corners, they are 64-pounder, double everything. The size of the cannonball they can fire, the size of the barrel, the power itself, the range, much better, 5 times better. But still, these guns are beautiful for example, the saluting battery. So we fire for a very good number of practical reasons, my friends. At 12 and at 4 from Monday to Saturday. Then the name of the place itself is another reason. Saluting battery, for example, the cruise liners. We fire 7, lucky number for navigation, even though they are 8, 7, or 21 times. The highest, 21 is the highest honor that a person or a ship can receive from cannon firing. So you come in peace, we welcome you in peace. Otherwise, we load the cannonball. That is another of the questions that we receive on a daily basis. Do you fire a cannonball? Yes, me, my last day. Are you single? Are you warm? Can you take a picture? What is the place where you are going to fight the guns? Is this the place where you fire the guns? Are these real cannons? Do they have names, the guns? Are you going to fire? No, we play blackjack, eating gummy bears. Anyways. So, ladies and gentlemen, the other reasons why we fire the guns, national holidays, weddings, competitions, there are celebrations of any type. If you want to celebrate your wedding, we fire the guns for you. If you want to celebrate your wedding again, I don't know if some of you want to do it, also we fire the guns for you. And finally, yes, I say this 300 times a year. Every November 11 at 11 o'clock in the morning, yes, today, we fire the guns 4 and 5 because we remember the end of the First World War, and as you can see, the ceremony happened today. And there are so many others. There, for example, there are when important people in Malta with influence in Maltese history die, we fire the guns 21 times. Few examples: the Pope, obviously the British Queen. So 21 firings. Okay. Right. Finally, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most important reasons why the guns used to be fired is to help the ships, because the cannon firing happened at 12, and this was the signal for the calibration of the navigation instruments. Navigation instruments were calibrated thanks to the cannon firing, and the ships didn't get lost at all. Some of the firings possibly were not done properly, and the ships got lost. In the Mediterranean Sea, okay, nothing. What about the ocean, the Atlantic? Tragic. The demonstration is over here. This is the moment I start losing everyone, but I will try to do my best. It's been technical, you come from university, from the office, I know. But I will do my best, my friends. They will complain that my tour was too long, but what can I do? This is how we load and fire one of the guns, in this case, a cannon. So everything happens from the front. We load the cannonball. First the gunpowder, then the cannonball, and finally that one. I call it that one. It has a very particular name. You know, I read articles, books every single day in English language. It's not my mother tongue, as you notice. It has a name that I hate. For me, it's a piece of rope. It's a rope, goes inside and increases the compression. No, the name of that is called the wadding. from Shakespeare times. This one increases the compression of the piece of rope, also prevents the cannonball from rolling out the gun. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you probably know, somewhere, Napoleonic Wars, for example, the French, or well, even the British, fire, and then they had to refill the trigger again, load up again the trigger with a horn, with the gunpowder. That is called the flintlock trigger. It was exactly the same for the cannon. So you can observe over there the flintlock for the cannons, right? Very hard to pronounce, definitely. Right. To stop the gun from being fired, hammer and spike. So you remove the trigger, you hammer the spike, and this was the way to stop the gun from being fired, temporarily, not forever. We use prickers during the firings to stop the cartridge, clean the vent hole, hold it so we can close the breech. Very, very important. Fuses, quick matches. Also this long stick, port fire number 8. So we take more distance and then we fire, right? Everything's safer. Number 1 to number 5, they are there on the corner because we use them. They are called the side, they go on the side arms, okay? Number 3, sponge. Number 5, brush, to wash and clean the gun. Obviously, they need maintenance and a lot of oil. Number 4, runner, to increase the compression even more. Number 2 is ladle. With the ladle, we can increase the loose gunpowder, the amount of loose gunpowder inside, respecting the limits. And finally, the number 1. Number 1 is called the worm. 2 main purposes, only 2 usages. Number 1, cease firing, stop firing the guns. After the order was given, the soldier had to go in front of the gun, obviously, cannon in this case, and take out the cartridge. Otherwise, after the firing, with this one we can remove, even today, remainings after the explosion. Pieces of cannonball, any kind of ammunition, right? And this has a name. Get ready. The verb, the action in question is called fish out.
Fish out.
So what in God's name is the fish? What is the fish? Say remove, take it out. What is the fish? 20th century is over here. Thank you so much. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century is by far the bloodiest, the deadliest century in the entire history of humanity, so far. So far, yes, because it's human nature. As I'm speaking right now at the moment, right now, exactly right now, there are so many battles and wars taking place in the planet. That exactly is where history is written. 20th century, First World War, Second World War, and finally the Cold War. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Maltese participation during these 3 conflicts in the 20th century was extremely, absolutely important. Malta is the 10th smallest country in the world. It's a small island, I know, but still, during the years of the wars, it was very essential, absolutely. So, in the First World War, ladies and gents, and by the way, I'm wearing this uniform only for today, because we are remembering the end of the war, November 11 o'clock in the morning. Malta, in the years of the First World War, didn't fight at all. Hospital, support, assistance, help, right? In the years of the First World War, Malta basically worked to help and, to heal soldiers, wounded soldiers from other parts of the continent. This was the program, to bring people from other parts of the continent, soldiers in specific, come here, get healed, and go back to fight, right? And of course, so many other people, prisoners, refugees, orphans, poor families, and much more. In the following years, after the First World War, ladies and gents, okay, here we go. In the newspapers, it was very common to read the word independence. The word independence becomes part of the daily conversation in Maltese society. Floating in the air, independence, independence. The love relationship between, of course, Maltese and British began to change. Why? The economy was fucked up, was a disaster. Inflation, unemployment, starvation, overpopulation, disaster. So, independence was possibly needed. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a national holiday that Malta celebrates. June 7, 1920. 4 Maltese were killed in Valletta in one of the major fights ever between Maltese and British, because the price of the food increased exponentially. The island was out of control. But well, this attempt to obtain independence failed. Malta remained as a colony. However, 1921 is when Malta receives the first constitution. It's a book of rules for society, French invention, and finally a self-government. Obviously, they didn't want to lose the colony and the holiday destination. Ladies and gents, 3 years after this, 101 years ago, the saluting battery was open for tourism. This is the reason why you are here, driving me crazy, some of you sometimes, but today everybody is so lovely and nice, beautiful. I can't believe this. Let's go to the other side to finish the tour.
He's been very, very good explaining everything. He's moved us over this side now.
So many soldiers today, absolutely. You're a part of us, by far, absolutely. We receive approximately 2 million human beings, 2 million, every single year, to witness the firing of one of the guns. So you can imagine, approximately 97% of the world's population cannot come here. And it's very annoying to hear complaints, so many. There is a country, 357 kilometers from here, which is called Libya. I have some friends over there. They live under the human condition, unfortunately. And here, I hear complaints all the time. But, anyways, the good times. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, what can we say about the Second World War? It's the greatest war in the history of the planet so far. 75 to 80 million. Sounds like fiction, but it happened. 75 to 80 million human beings passing away. It was 2% of the world's population. 2% of the world's population. Amazing, right? Probably you read books, articles, you see pictures, you watch movies, but it's not fiction. It happened. And again, and it happens always. There are no winners. There are no losers. There is only a transformation of power. They keep going on. We cannot stop them. Human nature. Well, actually, the war in Malta starts way before. You know where? The country that I really admire and love. United States of America with the Wright brothers. In the first years of the 20th century, they invented the aircraft, the airplane. Yes, we can travel in the air. Yeah, beautiful. The First World War introduced the battle in the air, the war in the air. The human beings started killing each other in the air. This never happened before. So you can imagine the situation of Malta in the 30s, okay? Malta is very close to Sicily, and it was very close to goddamn Mussolini. In the 30s, ladies and gentlemen, Malta was every day under the pressure and the stress of the fascist empire. Obviously, Mussolini had interest for Malta. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the 30s, the British excavated a huge top-secret underground military complex for the protection of Malta. Yes, there is a huge bunker in this region. As an organization, we offer these places for you. There are museums, tours, okay? Under this area, we have 3 levels that we offer. Number 1 is the War HQ tunnels, the War Headquarters tunnels. The tunnels were first actually excavated by the Knights of Malta in 1566. After winning the Great Siege, they are building the saluting battery, Valletta, and also they are excavating these tunnels as well. The idea of the tunnels was to take, a route as a way to escape from the enemies without being seen by the enemies. So we have batteries over there, under our feet the tunnels, and they lead all the way down to the country over there that I showed you previously. Okay? These tunnels and some of the operational rooms were going to be the bunker for the Second World War, but they were not going to be enough. Under the tunnels, we also have the Lascaris War Rooms. Lascaris War Rooms is the bunker itself for the Second World War that was exclusively designed for the coordination and execution of the Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily, July 1943. Malta was chosen to send 150,000 soldiers to Sicily to give Mussolini a taste of his own medicine. And of course, they were shitting in their trousers, very scared, but they had to do what they had to do. Probably the greatest generation of all time. Yes, different nationalities, Canadian, Australian, American, British, Maltese, but they joined forces and they won. This mission changed completely the direction in the Second World War. It's the beginning of the end of the war. It's the collapse of the fascist empire. And this technically allowed the Operation Overlord, the D-Day, June 6, also called the invasion in Normandy. Otherwise, who knows, right? Right, ladies and gents, in the years of the Second World War, Malta becomes the most bombed place on earth. In terms of area. 16 to 17,000 tons of bombs were dropped in the island to eliminate them. The 5 islands. Incredible. However, 17,000 tons of bombs. Malta was never taken by the enemies. It survived. So you can see on the other side of the harbor in Fort St. Angelo, the 2 flags of Malta has. One is the flag of the Knights. Where are they? Rolling. And number 2, the Maltese flag, the flag of the country. White and red, peace and war. Guess what? And finally, the George Cross. Ladies and gentlemen, the George Cross is a medal that's like this, that a soldier, officer, commander, sergeant, general could receive. The medal was given to the entire island of Malta and the population. It's quite unique in war history. Finally, just to let you know, under the war rooms, under the last college war rooms, we also offer unfinished bunkers. Those are the 3 underground levels available for exploration, education, and you can get the tickets in the reception. What about my saluting battery? Yes, I didn't like the gun, so remove. Anti-aircraft was the protection. 116 anti-aircrafts. So, ladies and gents, we had the end of the war, happily. 1945. So the strong men were gone. Ladies and gents, after the Second World War, you probably know what happened. There was a huge financial agreement, also called Marshall Plan, between the Americans and the European continent. Malta tried to receive support, financial support to restore, to rebuild the island. But Malta was still under the British administration, was still a colony. No Marshall Plan, no financial support, and Malta destroyed. 1964, the situation was so crazy, Malta became extremely expensive, to be maintained by the British Empire, and Malta was finally released. Constitutional government, 1964, 5 islands, 1 country. However, it's not the end of the story. As you know, we had the transition into the Cold War and the communism. Well, coming from a communist country, let me tell you that that ideology doesn't work, and it's extremely terrible and horrible to live. Right. New Maltese government. They let the British and the NATO stay, remain, and use Malta to monitor Soviet operations from the same bunker in the years of the Cold War. So in 1979, 31 of May, it's the end of the British occupation. The last British ship left the harbor. It's a national holiday in Malta. Some Maltese were happy, some Maltese were not happy. Me, I'm neutral. So, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years afterwards, the wall in Berlin was put down. After the Cold War, you can imagine, ladies and gents, documentation, equipments, everything was thrown away, destroyed. That is very common in the after-war period. You destroy the evidence, especially the documents, reports, records, very, very common. After the Cold War, ladies and gentlemen, that didn't stop, by the way. In 2004, we started everything again. So we have been working so hard to restore absolutely all these places. Nowadays, we find the guns, of course, and the bunker is definitely available for exploration. Ladies and gents, this is the farewell. It has been a pleasure to provide this explanation. There is something very, very important, especially for me. The TripAdvisor reviews with a name. Do it for us. There is only one way we can keep bringing people here, only with the comments that we receive on TripAdvisor. Otherwise, people cannot find the saluting battery, because, well, the advertising is a mess in this country. Donation boxes, merchandise, everything available in the reception, the museums as well, the tickets for them. And again, I really look forward to reading Do It For Us, the TripAdvisor comments. And finally, when you go back to your homes, just remember the value of the soldier is the greatest human being possible. It's the architect and the builder of the planet. Thank you for your attention, and you are dismissed.
Well done. Our heroes. A salute.
Thank you so much. Yes, they have gunpowder. Careful at the airport.
Let me just show you this before I go. The last bit.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. All the best. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for supporting us. All the best. Right, this is for you. Thank you so much for coming. All the best. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming.
So what I'll do before I go, just give you an overview, looking out to see what he was on about and what he was talking about, all the different places. The harbour, that's where they would have all come in through that little opening, where the lighthouse is. It's the 3 cities here, 1 city over there, this city, and a city there, the 3 cities of Malta. So thank you for being with me. I really appreciate you being with my YouTube. If you could share, subscribe, and keep watching these lives for me, because it really helps. I hope you enjoyed watching. My first one was up on that balcony up there and gone, but we couldn't. This balcony, is it the balcony? See, the first one was up there, and I had to go through the barrier. See where the fencing is and the little holes and everything. I was putting the camera through there. But I apologise for that one. That was about just before this one, and that showed you the laying of the wreaths. All the different nationalities and children that was singing and everything. I'll show you the wreaths before I go, just in case anyone didn't see them. You've got the government of New Zealand. The Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, the Republic of Turkey, Republic of Ireland, and the Government of Peace of Ireland, and Turkey. There's quite a few of them here. This one's gone over. There. So, thank you again. I'll go and say thank you to the man, if I can get hold of him, the soldier. Excuse me? Yeah, I'm a YouTuber, and I think you are very, very informal, and thank you very, very much. Thank
Hopefully
you.
I won't get in trouble, because they tell me off but every day. They have my opinions, but we
You
carry
were
on.
very, very informative, and thank you very, very much. And someone said about the black on your hands, that's
I have
gunpowder.
gunpowder, yes.
Gunpowder.
But you wash your hands then.
Yeah, you did the salute in the battery.
Yes, at 12 it was me. At 4 o'clock we fire. I fire again.
Someone said, is there, on the guns, is there a string that you pull to make them fire?
Yes, it's called a lanyard.
A lanyard,
it's a
yeah.
piece of rope, metallic hook, wooden handle. So we pull it and we fire.
Okay.
That is also part of the uniforms, the lanyard. Not for this one in particular.
Yeah,
the
someone-
lanyard goes here, because there were always more soldiers than cannons. So every soldier was with a lanyard, and in the battlefield, obviously, the soldiers used to, unfortunately, get killed. So the next one was ready with his lanyard to keep the guns in service. Always more soldiers with lanyards than cannons, to continuously fire and fire them. Otherwise, you need to find, what is the lanyard? Didn't work like that.
No. So thank you very much. Thank you for being very informative.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
At your
Have a
service.
good day.
You too, madam. Thank you.
Okay. So that was the man just talking, and we've still got all the people up here watching, all the viewers up here. So thank you for watching, Carol Pritchard 5062. Please subscribe, share, comment, anything else that you would like me to do. If it's within reason, I will do it. Okay, thank you. I'm going to end it now.